Okay. Okay, folks. Get myself adjusted here. Here we go. Time to wake up with all of you as I do a morning cup of Joe. That's for you guys, it's a morning cup of me. That's what that means. And I have a morning cup of tea. And I'm doing a different kind of tea this time. This time it's not green tea. This time it's Earl Grey black tea. So we'll see how the Earl Grey. I think I've had this before. My girlfriend used to make this for me. So yeah, I don't know. These aren't very tasty, but then again, I'm not drinking it for the taste. I'm drinking it for throat soothing, and and also hopefully some benefits. But I don't know how much benefits there are in this. I don't think caffeine is good. A lot of people say, "Oh, there's new reports. Caffeine is good for you. Caffeine is good." I don't think caffeine is good for anybody. This is caffeinated, so. But I've tried decaffeinated tea. But when I do decaffeinated tea, people have told me that decaffeinated tea is bad because they have to put chemicals in there to take the caffeine out. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, is what it comes down to. So here I am. Here we are. Oh, Gary Hunt is the first one. I hopefully will get the now and then single. Very moving. Yeah. Yep. Let's hope if you ordered one, let's hope you get it. Good, good morning, James Gracia. Let's see who pops on here this morning. The time, which I always like to give, I give the time here only because for my own, I guess, posterity, like later on, like for posterity, later on, when you look back on this years from now, if I watch what is, I wonder what time it was. Was it like, well, yeah, anyway, I got 7:26 a.m. in the morning. Yes, and of course it's 12:36 p.m. in London. Yeah, the 5 hours apart. So for me, it's morning. For you, it's afternoon. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty crappy day today. Looks like I think it's supposed to rain today, and that's really annoying because I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. But I'm on a mission today. I'll be repeating this, I'm sure, a few times today as more people come on. But I'm going to be hopefully. I'm right on schedule to be able to get a hold of the new Red and Blue Beatles CDs. And I'm hoping I'm going to be doing that in about 2.5 hours from now. That I'm going to be. I think there's someone that's I'm going to be able to get the CDs from. And my mission, as I said, is to play both of them all the way through. I want to hear the Red album and the Blue album, and maybe more, or at least one of them, if not both. Then I want to make a video before the day is out. So that's my goal today. Today I have to listen to the Red and the Blue CDs all the way through and give my opinions. And I'm looking forward to this for two reasons. Number one, I'm looking forward to it because I'm hoping that there are going to be some good tracks on there, good new 2023 mixes of some songs, particularly the early songs. And I'm also looking forward to slashing a hammer down big if there's anything I don't like on it they screwed up. Because I'm not one of these guys that just says, "Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's good. Oh," because I want to, kiss up to Apple, I want to kiss up to Giles Martin or kiss up to the Beatles or whoever it is. I don't do that. And certain people like Sean Lennon appreciated appreciated that I was willing to put the negatives in with all the positives. Sometimes it's all positive, sometimes it's 75% positive. That's reality. You can't have it all bad all the time. You can't have it all great all the time. Hello, Harold. How are you there? I see we got quite a number of people watching, but not a lot of commenters. We got like 31 people right now that are in this hour. but not a lot of commenters. So I can only talk for so long. There's not that much really right now to talk about, especially when I tend to do these things lately every single day. If you do this every single day, there's nothing really newsworthy to talk about. I'm pretty sure that the Beatles now and then is going to be their next number one. Haha. Suck it up, you people out there who have nothing but negativity to say about this particular one. You know, um, and people know who I'm talking about. There was a lot of people, you know, and you're gonna have to deal with it because the Beatles have another number one, and that's just the way it is. They'll always be number one, and we know that. Everybody, the detractors know it, the supporters know it. You know, so there we go. Okay, Gary says I was listening to. I saw her standing there on my Bose. The bass quality is brilliant. Okay, well I know the bass is going to be up. But let's see. I hope the drums are up on some of these things. Uh, Earth. I hate to say it's hard to say your name because I'm going to say Earth, then pause. Earth says that's maybe why John got along with Zappa, even if Zappa trashed the Beatles. John respected everybody's opinion. Yeah, but he also said, I can knock the Beatles, but don't let Mick Jagger knock them. Ollie Perry, what's going on? So I'm going to keep drinking my tea while I'm waiting for more. It's number one in the UK. Gary says the new Beatles song is number one in the UK. I knew that. I knew it was on its way to being number one, but I didn't think it was official yet. It's not official until Friday. Am I right? Tomorrow. So, oh, hello, Scott O'Rourke is here. Hello, Scott. I appreciate you being here. And Psychos Platters also. Hello, Paul. Let's come on, Paul. If you got that cup with you, even though you're not on screen, let's go. Let's do a cheers. I always think I've made the water hot enough. Then I drink it, it's not that hot. I know I keep saying this. I've been drinking tea now every day, at least one cup a day, maybe two. And I thought I was getting more agita from it, which is like, supposed to be good for you. But was I at the record store yesterday? I stopped in for like a half an hour. It was boring as hell over there yesterday. Sometimes it's fun there and sometimes it's not lately. I haven't been making videos lately, on the record store. Not much going on. Is that the end of an era? I don't know. We'll see about that. Uh, if Now and Then has a number one, that would mean that the number one album is out of date. The one album, and that makes the new Red and Blue the definitive Beatles hits collection. Um, I have First of all, I have to think is every song on the. I don't even know this. This would be a good time to find out, Ali. Do you know the answer to this? Is every song on the one album also on the Red and Blue? Is every song represented from the one album on the Red and Blue? I'd like to know. Okay, let's see then. Psychos Platters, how was Tulsa? Too bad we couldn't have hung around. Maybe you I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I know you, right? I've seen your videos, for years. I didn't know you were from I didn't even know you were in Oklahoma. You are? I had no clue. Well, anyway, I was there for a wedding, and I like Tulsa. I like Tulsa because, well, in yeah, I'm a city guy, and while I like visiting the country, as um, well, for relaxation, vacation. To live, I like to have civilization around me. I like to know I can go to stores, I can go to restaurants, I can go shopping easy. I don't have to drive 45 minutes or a half an hour to find the people. Anyway, so I went to, I guess it was the store that I went. Paul, you familiar with Broken Arrow? That's where I went to get the red vinyl Target Now and Then 12-inch single. I went to Broken Arrow Target. Oh, oh, I'm seeing. Okay, gotcha. All right, you're not from Tulsa. Sorry. Never mind. But seriously, there you go. Beetle Eddie, good morning. Yeah, yeah. He says he didn't get Beetle Eddie didn't get his Beatles delivery. I was very surprised. As I told you, I'll just tell you again. You know. I get home yesterday, right? I'm out. I get home about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I notice this box is sitting on my step. Now, doesn't it look like they could be the Beatles stuff in here because it's you could fit a 12-inch album in here, right? So I look at it. We had Friends in Broken Arrow Psychos, okay, and I look and it has. Well, first of all, my girlfriend ordered this for me because I don't like putting my account up on websites, but she has no problem with that. She does it all the time. So she is the one that has the Beatles store account. So it had her name on it. Okay, I expected that. But then when I looked at the return address, she's always getting stuff delivered every day. She gets stuff every day. So I look here and it says from Vantiva.com in Tennessee, and I'm thinking that doesn't sound like that's not the Beatles store. It's something for her. So I leave this thing on the step at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, no, I took it in. I didn't leave it on the step, and I left it in the living room. I left it on the couch. I left it there for her when she came home. She wasn't coming home from work till like 8 o'clock at night. So leave it there. I come on here with you guys. I do it. I do like a 2.5 hour live stream like this. We chat for 2.5 hours, and then uh, all of a sudden she comes home from work at like 8 o'clock at night and she opens up, she goes, "Babe," he goes, "This is your Beatles stuff." I said, "What?" So anyway, that's a long story, but basically I had it 6 hours earlier. I could have talked about it and made a video. But anyway. All right. Let's see. I think John Lennon was a fan of some classical music, yes. He said he hated jazz. Good for you, John. Cheers. But he said that like in 1964. There's an interview with, "Oh God, jazz. Oh my God," ugh, something like that. But anyway, okay, Scott O'Rourke is confirming that all the songs on the one album are on the red and blue. If that's the case, then yeah, those are the official greatest hits. Then, if you think about it, I think Hello is it Hello Goodbye is not on the blue album. I thought that was. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. Um, let's see. Apparently, the Beatles site has good service after all. Well, that depends. No, no, I wouldn't say that because I ordered mine. It took a week for it to get here. I mean, when I say a week, what I mean is it should arrive. I believe that things should arrive. If you pre-order something in advance, I believe it should show up at your home the day of release, not a week after the day of release. And there are other people that pre-ordered that haven't gotten it yet, not going to get it for 2 weeks. So that's not good service, in my opinion. Good morning, Mike Wall Jasper. If they put the Beatles on the box, higher chance people may swipe it. Very good, Dane Johnson. Very, very good. Hello, Canadian stud muffin. I was actually hoping you'd be here. Um, well, you're saying one more day to go, but not for me, Larry. I'm hoping that in about 2 hours from now, 2.5 hours from now, I'm expecting to be able to go get the red and the blue CDs, and I'm going to spend the day today listening to the red and blue CDs, jotting down notes and doing my video. That's what I'm hoping. But it's good to see you here. I was thinking, I think once in a while, Larry, we should get together online. We should do like come on, like one of my shows and chat with us or something or whatever. We'll talk about it, if you like. Um, I've never been to heaven, but I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to heaven a few times with some women in my life at times. Felt like the closest you come to heaven. You know what I'm saying, guys? Cheers. Okay, okay, very good, Larry. Thank you. Sounds good. But again, I feel this tea is making me cough more than not cough. I'm taking this to relieve coughing, to relieve throat irritation. And the more I drink the tea, the more I want to cough. Don't get it. I got lemon and honey, a little dab of honey, a little dab of lemon. Lemon's supposed to be good. Who could figure this out? I can't. Harold says, "Are you going to do more horror movie reviews?" Absolutely. I was getting on a roll there for Halloween month, and I'm going to do them again. Once I get into it, I'll do it. But right now, all my time, understandably, is being taken by the new Beatles release of Beatlemania 2023. So please don't. Harold's talking about my movie channel, which is called Mayo's Offbeat Movies, where I talk about mostly horror, mostly science fiction, mostly weird, cult, unusual movies, grade Z movies, grade B movies, things like that. But not only those, not exclusively. Those get the priority on my movie channel, Mayo's Offbeat Movies. So thank you. But yeah. Okay, Matchstick Man says, "Hey Joe, what record or CD do you most regret selling or trading from your collection?" I regret selling the box set of Beatles mono LPs. Yeah, I think from 2014. I think. I don't know why. I just needed some cash at the time, so I sold them. And now that box set's worth like thousands of dollars. Um, but I should have kept that. That's something I regret. I also regret selling. Um, it was the. It's a long story, but I'll make it short. It was the original UK "Let It Be" record in the box with a book. It had everything was in mint condition. The box was in great shape. Records were in great shape. I made a video a long time. I made a little video, I think, in 2015 about that. Yeah. So I wound up, and I think it even had an ad in there, an original ad for Apple and the Apple records and stuff in there. And I sold that because I again needed some cash at the time. But I did get it back. I mean, another one. I got another copy later, but it was never as pristine as the first one. I think it might have been from Canada. Do I like the Three Stooges? Yeah, I've always been a Three Stooges guy. Yeah. It's funny though, as I know just about every short that they did, and I like them a lot. But the thing is, as I get older, I find I like them less than I did when I was younger. Go figure. But I've also seen them like a lot of times before. So yeah, I've seen them a lot of times before. So good morning, Mr. Lennon Axel. Mhm. So my favorite Stooge is Mo. My favorite. Yeah, I talked a lot about this yesterday, Scott. It's like if you watch yesterday's it's called an impromptu live stream. There's a lot of stooge talk in there, but it's 2.5 hours long, so you got to look for it. But I don't expect you to do that to go hunting for those stooge talk. I'm not a big Curly fan. Everybody loves Curly. I'm not a big fan, believe it or not. I like Shemp. And it's not so much that I like Shemp per se, but I like that era. I like it better when the Stooges are more in their 50s and early 60s. I like it when they're old guys. I don't think it's so funny seeing a bunch of 30-year-olds slapping each other around. But when you see guys in their 50s smacking each other around at 60, that to me that's funnier. I don't know. I just think that's funny. But I hate Joe DeRita, Curly Joe. Curly Joe has always been my least favorite third stooge. I think the guy was heart wasn't in it. He's really weak. He's a weak stooge, Curly Joe. So, as painful as it is for me to say this, I like Joe Besser better. So there you go. And yes, so people just joining. I'm very excited. I'm expecting that in about 2 hours or so. I'm expecting I'm going to be able to get the red and blue CDs today, and I'm going to be looking forward to playing them. I plan on putting them in my car. Although I have a CD player here and I have headphones. I may also put the headphones on. I may listen. What I'm thinking of doing is listening once in the car on the car stereo, you know, and take a drive and just listen, just drive, And the other one I'm thinking is coming here and then listening to them a second time on the CD player with headphones. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. We'll see how that goes. Okay. People are looking forward to hearing the Red and the Blue albums, and people are waiting for their deliveries. Do I miss places like Blockbuster or UK with streaming movies? Well, I don't stream movies, I don't. Let's put it this way. I kind of miss Blockbuster in a way. But even though I'm against streaming, I'm not against streaming just to check out a movie. Do you know what I mean? I'm in favor of streaming as a means to watch a movie to see if you like it. You know what I mean? So I don't ever really do it though. I mean, there are some cases where I have a friend of mine who makes me actually like he burns discs, hard copies. He burns discs of some movies I want to see. He comes with a stack of movies. Here you go, check these out, Joe. These are the new, usually horror movies that are new, stuff like the Winnie the Pooh movie, the horror movie, and the horror movie about the banana splits and Cocaine Bear, all these kind of like new horror movies. Terrifier, he did this with Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2. He burns them for me on discs. And then so whether it's whether it's watching burned discs made at home or whether it's streaming movies, like you said, I don't mind doing that just to see a movie. But at the end of the day, if I decide, hey, like I mentioned Terrifier, for example, the guy burned me a copy of Terrifier. I watched it. I said, yeah, I think I'll own that. I want to own that. Then I go out and I buy the actual disc. So if you guys don't like clowns, don't watch this, please. These movies are extremely sick and depraved and extremely violent. These movies, but the guy's scary. I like the clown. I like the clown. Anyway, so I went out and said, okay, I'll buy it, and that's how I do it. I will never use streaming as a replacement for physical media. I'm all about physical media, and I'll never use streaming as a replacement. Driving to Beatles music in a car is like taking a magical mystery tour. Good morning to Robbie, Detroit's Vinyl. How are you? Yeah, I'm still drinking my tea, as I've told people at the beginning. This is not my green tea. I've been drinking green tea because it has a lot of benefits, supposedly health benefits. This time, this is Earl Grey black tea. So who the hell knows? Okay, I miss going to a record store and buying a new release. I remember the Beatles Anthology 1 release at Best Buy. They had tons of CDs in stock and people just waiting. Unbelievable. I miss those days. So do I. So do I. But you know what? Us, well, older people, we've had the best of both worlds. I got to enjoy the world in the 60s. I got to enjoy the world in the 70s and 80s. Then the 90s came along and things took a serious dip. And then the 21st century, 2000s millennium came along and now we're in shit. I'm sorry, folks. You know how I feel about that. From the 2000 was the end, the beginning of the end. 2000, the seeds were really taking root. And now in the 2020s, it's the worst time as far as I'm concerned in our history. Well, say between like 1930 to now. Yeah, I know. Look, I know we had the depression. I know we had World War II. Yeah, believe me, I appreciate all that, Vietnam, all that. But that's not what I'm talking about here, though. Referring to, but the movie Gold Raiders with the Stooges. That's, I think, Shemp is in that one. I think I've seen it. I'm not as familiar with those offbeat movies. I'm more familiar with the ones later on with Curly Joe. But yeah, I do miss those records. But I had to bet. I enjoyed those days. A lot of people say, "Oh, today it's better to be young because to be like a kid today or a teenager because today we have the internet." Well, first of all, I feel the internet, while it has some good things about the internet, like right here, we get to all meet here and congregate and say hello. The internet has a lot of bullying. Internet has a lot of bad things that happen too. People getting hacked, people getting, you know, ripped off and stuff and spied on and all this kind of crap. So there's bad in there too. Anyway, but the thing I'm trying to say is, hey, I got my first computer. I got my first computer when I was only 38. By the time I was, say, 40, which 40 is not old, well, you'll realize that when you get there. By the time I was 40, I was on the internet. Um, I got my first, how old was I? I was only 35 years old when I got my first DVD player. I started my YouTube channel when when I had first turned 50. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is I had the best of both worlds. I enjoyed, the stuff going to the record stores and all the stuff that we enjoyed before the 21st century, and I'm enjoying some of the benefits of now. Having an iPhone and stuff. So it's not like, oh, I'm so happy I was so old that I missed out on all the modern conveniences and technology. No, no, Philip, I don't drink my tea with milk. No, just do lemon. But I don't know. I don't feel so hot with this tea. With any of this tea, I don't really know. People that stop drinking it. They're saying, but. Did I see the first Fest announcement? Scott wants to know. Yes, I did. The tickets are on sale now for the Fest for Beatles fans, and of course, they put the thing up when I'm all tapped out. I spent too much money going to Oklahoma. My Oklahoma trip cost us a lot of money. It sucks. And also, I bought a lot of Beatles stuff here. It's the Beatle craze, right? That's why anybody there want to help me out, please do. Tips are always welcome and encouraged if you want. That's what I'm calling it. But it's not. They're not necessary, and you don't have to do it to be here, of course. But where am I going with this? So the Beatle Fest now comes, and I got to get my tickets, and I don't want them to sell out or anything. They don't usually sell out, let's face it. But this one being the special anniversary, I don't know about it. So I'm a little wondering about this one. But as usual, I'm disappointed. I'll come out and say I'm very disappointed in the guest list again. It's the same people again. I can't believe it. I really thought that for something as big as the 50th anniversary of the Beatle Fest, along with the 60th anniversary of the Beatles coming to America, I really thought this was going to be, we're going to pull out all the stops and try harder to get some. I know a lot of people are dead. I realize that. You can't dig up the graves. I realize it. I'm disappointed. And anyway, but that's it. And it's in the early stages of development right now, the Beatle Fest, but I should be on some panels. I should be on a Talk More Talk panel, maybe a couple of others. You know, we'll see how that goes. But the reason I like the Fest for Beatles fans now is simply to meet a lot of you, a lot of people who watch my show love to go and if they see me, they say hello, and I love that. I love meeting people who watch my channel in the flesh. I like to put a name with a face. I meet a lot of people who never really comment, but they watch all the time, which is Nice too. So that's why I like going for it. I also like to go there to meet other people. Beetle Brad. I like to meet. And Alan C. Records, and I think Marv Beetle Vinyl '85. Marv is going there. Scott O'Rourke is going to be there. He says he's going to be on a panel. Matthew Street. I hope he goes. Sometimes Matthew Street's there, sometimes not. All these people we get to meet. In person. You know. Roy Gold says that guy really slammed now and then. Yeah, he did. Well, that's his opinion on it. As I've said about him, is that I think he does good videos, and I think that he talks about topics people are interested in and really does it well. I give credit where it's due. Um, a lot of times he can, the way he can be like a little, I don't know, abrasive with things. And I think that thing, I didn't care for the way he threw some people under the bus in that particular video. So yeah, if you don't like Now and Then, by all means, say so. Say so. That's what I do. Um, it just so happens I like the song Now and Then, and I love the video. Like the song, love the video. Um, but we have other people. I'm not saying it's him, excuse me, but other people, there's other people out there that's their bread and butter. They kind of their shtick is just to get on and crap on everything, and that's what they think they're funny, and they're not. There's only one tea to drink unless you're ill. Green and chamomile are good for congestion. Otherwise, stick to real tea. I don't know. I didn't. I don't recall. Oh, I mentioned the Japanese importer, Rubber Soul. Oh, that's right. I did. I did. Yeah, well, the Japanese vinyl of Rubber Soul has the harsh separation, music one side, vocals on the other. New documentary on John's murder by David Whelan. He has interview footage with the surgeon and the lead nurse claiming John was shot from the front. Oh, that's nonsense. I'm sorry. I know that, look, he obviously was shot in the back. I mean, the guy who murdered him said he shot at his back. He shot him while his back was turned. I mean, he didn't shoot him face to face. He shot him after he walked past. He hit him in the back. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, he might have spun around a little bit and got some in the chest. I can't believe we're even discussing this, but it's what happened. So that's nonsense. All right. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Do I have the McGear album Woman? No, I don't. I have another one. I have the one with the Gulliver's Travels cover on it. I think it's just called McGear. Yeah, Earth says Now and Then would have been a hit on MTV. It sure would have. The Now and Then video is one of the best Beatles videos I've ever seen, and one of the best Beatles ever in my life. One of the best music videos, excuse me, best music videos that I've ever seen in my life. How do I rate Now and Then with Ringo's new EP? Well, that's not a fair comparison because Now and Then is one song and Ringo's EP are four songs. So, but I mean, I like Ringo's new EP and I like the new song. What era is it from? Well, the Japanese Rubber Soul from the 1970s, the so-called Japanese flag series. Lady Madonna or Hey Bulldog. I don't know why the two are being compared, but I've always thought I'm not too fond of Lady Madonna. I don't know why. I'll definitely pick Hey Bulldog over Lady Madonna if given the choice. In 2009, they let out that awful "Please Please Me" stereo. It would never get past quality control to date. Well, I've always, when it comes to the song "Please Please Me," you're talking about the album, or the album "Please Please Me"? I guess so. But I did not see Giles Martin. I don't listen. You know the thing. You know my feelings on Giles Martin. I don't. Sometimes I used to watch a lot. Every time I'd see an interview with Giles Martin, I would watch it. I am curious to see what he has to say, but because I feel that he's ruined so many Beatles songs with his mixing, I'm kind of like, maybe he can redeem himself in a way, in my mind, on this new release, the Red and the Blue. But especially the Red, because the blues, most of the blue is going to have mixes that already stink, that were done before. But like I said, not everything that Giles Martin did I dislike. There's a few tracks that I do like, that I think he breathed new life into some of them. So whenever I listen to a Giles Martin, Samuel Kell, I guess, co mix, I have to always take a deep breath. Say, here we go. Let's go. Go for broke. Take a chance and see if I like what I hear or not. And it's a mixed bag sometimes. It's always, not sometimes. It's always a mixed bag. And that's why I'm 50-50 on the man, you know. Just my own opinion. Okay, what's going on, folks? Smash that like button. If you hit the like button, you help me with the algorithm. People might not know, what does that mean. I think it helps with the algorithm, just the way that your videos get processed. So I appreciate anybody who helps out with that. Thank you. And also, if you want to hit the dollar sign on the bottom, please do that too. Uh, the Red Album sounds absolutely awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Brett, because I've been hearing people tell me that the Red Album is completely destroyed. You know, he messed that up so bad. So I've been hearing a few people lately tell me, no, they really like it. So I'm gonna judge for myself at the end of the day. If I love it, I'm gonna pile heaps of praise on it. But if it turns out I don't like it, I'm gonna like crucify it. Believe me. So is now and then recorded in stereo? I don't know. I don't know. I guess so. I don't. That doesn't fly with me either. You know. I don't care what Paul and Ringo like Mix 64. He says everything Giles does to the songs has to be approved by Paul and Ringo, so they must like it. I don't care what they like or don't like. First of all, they're in their 80s. Their hearing isn't what I assume their hearing isn't what it once was. I know my hearing is still very good. You know, my eyesight's not what it was, unfortunately, but my hearing is still good. And anyway, I like what I like, not what Paul and Ringo like. Um, so that's how that goes. And of course, Paul just wants his bass brought up, and Ringo wants his drums brought up, and that's that. In the case of the drums, I really do want the drums brought up. I'm hoping that when I listen to those tracks, especially the early ones, I'm really hoping that you can hear more Ringo on them. I'm really hoping that. What's the next talk topic going to be on? I don't know if it's they have a funny thing about not wanting to announce that just yet. So I don't know if it was okay with them, I'd tell you, you know, but I can tell you that the next Talk More Talk is going to be on November the 20th. It's about all I could tell you. Um, Will they re-release the one album? Is that what you're asking? I can't see. Yes. Um, I don't. I haven't heard anything about that. There's no need to re-release it right now. They released it. They re-released it once already. I think it's been released at least twice. Yeah, I'm really worried about the bongos. First of all, Brett, people are saying, believe it or not, that Ringo doesn't play bongos on a hard day's night. That people are saying that Norman Smith plays the bongos on a hard day's night, which I really didn't know if that's the case. But I've never liked the bongos on a hard day's night. I got to tell you, I've never liked them, and you only ever really hear them when you're listening to like imports. In the United States, you can't really make out the bongos in there. And I just don't like bongos on a hard day's night. I hate it. And I heard that this particular release brings up those bongos pretty loud. So that's not for me. Okay. And we'll find out. Okay. I grew up with a Hard Day's Night on the United Artists soundtrack of the American album, and the bongos you don't even know they're on there, and that's just the way I like it. I know they intended it to have bongos, I get it, but not everything the way people intend is the most pleasant to hear. I mean, even the Beatles. I mean, even though the Beatles are great and they were magnificent at what they did, and George Martin. There's things I could pick that thought that maybe they made the wrong decisions. You know, so anyway, I'm concerned about that. Stephen McVeigh says now and then seems to be an earworm for me. Never had a seemingly simple melody stick in my brain so quickly. That's what they excel at. I love the chorus when you hear them singing together, the now and then part. That's what I like the best about it. And I think they do a great job. They did a great job with it. I feel sorry and sad for people who don't like it. And when I say that, that doesn't mean like I'm kind of like insulting. I don't mean to insult them. I'm not trying to say, you dummy, you don't like it. You're an idiot. I don't mean that. I mean, I genuinely feel sorry. There's people who feel sorry for me. They say, I feel sorry for you, Joe, that you don't care for the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds album. I feel sorry from their heart, because you're missing a beautiful thing. So if you get nothing out of it, I don't get it. So, George Martin always had the last word. I don't know about that. I don't know if George Martin always had the last word at all. Even in the beginning, the Beatles said they would not record "How Do You Do It," and George Martin wanted them to do it. Do you think they will slow down some of the Beatles songs? I certainly hope so. People may be surprised to hear me say that, but I always thought the Beatles songs are too fast a lot of times. It's with the early tracks, especially the very early tracks. That was certainly the case for me on the original 1987 CDs. I felt that they were too fast. So a lot of times, I got to slow things down for myself. But I don't mean really slow. I don't mean I don't want to hear like um, what's an example of one like I don't know. There's so many early songs and I can't even think of them. I don't want to hear like "Can't Buy Me Love." I'm not talking about that slow, but it should be moderately paced. It should not be "Can't Buy Me Love." It's supposed to be like a mid-range thing. I don't know. I can't describe it. Everybody has their preferences. Yeah, Ringo sounds great on background vocals. Mike says, "Talk More Talk rocks." Thank you. I'm glad you like Talk More Talk. The last show that we did really did well. A lot of people watched the Now and Then show. Check that out. It's on the Talk More Talk YouTube channel. We did a show on, of course, Now and Then. Talked a little bit about the Red and the Blue albums too at the end. So, yeah, as I say, this tea still remains to be seen if I'm going to keep doing tea. So everybody, what's on your so-called minds? Got to take the kids to school. Okay, Robbie, thank you for being here as always. I hope you're gonna. Everybody's looking forward. I hope to my red and blue review because I hope things work out smooth. I just hope. I hope. I expect to get the red and the blue CDs in 2 hours or so from now, and I expect to pop them in my car stereo and listen to them in the car. And yes, it's good quality. A lot of people are like, oh, a car is no place to listen to. I think the dynamics are perfect in a nice car. You can really hear them. But I'm gonna play them again at home here and with headphones. So I have headphones, CD players. So I'm gonna give that a listen too. So what's going on, folks? Any more comments? I appreciate everybody hitting the like button. Please hit the like button because it helps a lot. Helps a lot with algorithm and getting yourself noticed more. I think in the algorithm, something like that. Um, okay. Farrell McNulty says I'm looking forward to the download coming in the morning. I hear that she loves you. Uh, that's interesting. Hold on a minute. I hear she loves you really pops in the new mix. I'm hoping so. She loves you. She loves you is the one that's one I really dying to hear. And it's interesting. Jay Hutch says, "Be careful drinking too much of that mind-altering tea. I hear that's what destroyed Sid Barrett." Yeah, we talking about regular everyday tea or what? I believe some of the Beatles songs were recorded in like hard red to get loud sound before compression of records being used. I don't know. John and Paul always worked together, or did they also work independently? Well, in the earlier days, they wrote eye to eye, mostly together all the time, or sometimes one would write most of the song, the other one would contribute a line or two or change. But I think that later on, as time went on, I believe they did write more independently. I think. Hello, Henry. Did I say hello to you, Henry, yet? Well, here I am saying hello. John Tobacco, thank you for joining us. I keep singing the bridge they left out of now and then. I understand Paul's rationale of not using it, but I think it could work with a slightly new transition and only use it once in the song. I haven't heard the version. I heard that there's some fan versions out there where somebody put the line that they cut out back into the song, the new song. They took the new song, the new version, and were able to insert that in there. The magic they can do today. I have to hear that yet, but the subject matter just doesn't fit to me. I just think that basically the way I look at it, the song as they're intending it now is just like they're talking about now and then, looking back, looking looking at now, looking at the past, remembering people that we lost, people that we loved, John and George, and even the fans too. Nobody's really saying that. I think it's like a love letter to the fans too. Now and then, we miss you. Missing people and loss, and it's a bittersweet thing. Then when you start to say, "I don't want to lose you," I don't want to abuse you. I don't want to confuse you. That has nothing to do with kind of like the sentiment that they're trying to express in the song. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. So, did I see Jimmy Page perform the Rumble? No. Yeah, I've heard that there were like 1964 versions of Now and Then. By the way, John Tobacco, did you know that they're playing Jaws? I met you once. We went to see Jaws. Remember that? I think the Cinema Arts Center. And I heard they're bringing, Jaws is coming back this month. I don't know if I missed it yet, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see Jaws. I mean, I love seeing Jaws on the big screen any chance I get, but I don't. I think I'm going to skip this one. They're probably going to be bringing it back next year. Jaws, seeing Jaws around Thanksgiving time doesn't really fit. Seeing Jaws in the summertime, it fits better. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I may skip it. Brett says they'll probably use compression of the sound to get a more balanced modern sound. Well, we'll see. And that's another thing I hate. I say that to be. I am not a musician, and I am not a producer, and I am not like you know a technical guy with that. I can't tell you all that stuff. People want to know what's the bit rate, or I'm using. I don't know if that's even the right terminology. What's the bit rate? What's the compression rate? Is it brick wall? Is it this? Is it that? What's the high end? What's the low end? I can't tell you all that stuff. I just tell you what I hear is missing, what I hear is accentuated, what I think is clear, what's not clear. That very layman approach. Yeah, I missed Jaws in 3D. I didn't know that. I didn't even know they were showing it in 3D. I might have given that a chance if I had known that they were doing it, but I didn't know about it. George and Ringo were the more independent ones during the Beatles year, right? I don't know what you mean by that. Independent ones? I don't know what you mean. Like writing independently? I think George. Yeah, well, but both George and Ringo got help from the other two. But I think that I mean, you can see like help for George in the Get Back. You see John suggesting different lyric for All Things Must Pass. You see John trying to encourage George with the lyrics for something, and it's true, I guess, in a way. He says that they, kind of like blew off, George and Ringo, was mostly Lennon and McCartney. Um, Giles Martin talks about remixing Red Rose Speedway. I hope not. Is that released yet? Well, the Red Rose Speedway's already been out, more than once. I mean, it had the Archives Deluxe box set, Red Rose Speedway, and it also had a Half Speed Master LP. We don't need, in my opinion, I don't even like the album Red Rose Speedway. I know it's a big favorite of Andy Nichols, but not me. Um, Although I like a few tracks from it. Um, we don't need any more of Red Rose Speedway. Band on the Run is the question. Supposedly there's going to be another Band on the Run coming at the end of the year, Christmas or something. I don't know. I have, it's not official yet, but that's what the rumblings. The rumblings are. Wonder how they will release the Now and Then video on DVD and Blu-ray. Yeah, I wonder too, because that's something I'd like to have. Maybe they can put out yet another Beatles video compilation, or films compilation. They could do that. That's what they should do. I just thought of it. They should put out a package called Now and Then, the Beatles videos and promotional films. How's that? There's an idea for you. Anybody listening? Credit me, Joe Mayo. Joe Mayo, aka Mean Mr. Mayo. Now and Then, the Beatles promos and video collection. Something like that. And just do it again. I know you had One Plus, we had that, but that kind of got lost in the shuffle. Do it again, make a big promotional blitz and put Now and Then on it. I think that's the way to go. And you can call it Now and Then, because Now and Then is about the whole history of the Beatles, past and present. And um, and the title will make it sell well. I think it's very good to do that. Danny Ambrosi, hello again. Good morning. After the release of Now and Then, I couldn't get the song out of my head. Robin and I were singing it for 3 days after that. That's what I like to hear, my friend. Good. do it. Did I see the May Pang movie? Yes, I saw the May Pang movie at least twice, maybe 3 times in the theaters. I liked it quite a bit. Most of it I liked. I took some issue with some of the usual Yoko bashing that was going on, and I didn't appreciate that. I think that was an agenda there. And but other than that, I did see it. I found it very emotional. I did like it. I'm running out of tea here. I got very little bit here. I think I'm down to just a little bit of honey and lemon. Hmm. Sorry about the swallowing noises. I always got to say that. I shut off the mic sometimes when I'm swallowing it. All right, what's going on, folks? Let's go. Got a little bit of time here. Hang out. I could be up as long as 30 more minutes if people want, but or shorter than that if not. Should Now and Then have been a John Lennon release? After all, I think it was written about Yoko. Well, nobody knows. John never talked about it. Nobody knows for sure who Now and Then was written about or what, or if it was written about anybody in particular. I believe it was another Yoko song, I believe, for sure. Um, some people say it could have been written about Paul, so who knows? But do I think it should have been a John Lennon solo release? It could have been, but I'm glad it was used this way. I think it works really well as the Beatles' swan song, their last final bow, their thank you, their I miss you, and all this kind of stuff to everybody. I love it. You don't eat anything with your tea, Joe? Toast? Well, right now I'm trying to go off the bread. I'm trying to have no bread right now. So, no, um, nothing with the tea. Well, Farrell McNulty, I respect your opinion, but we have to agree to disagree on there. You say, I don't think May Pang, you say, was just bashing Yoko with some agenda. I do. She wants to establish herself as being more in John's life than she actually was. And of course, she had to tell stories about Yoko being controlling and stuff like that. And I don't like the fact that, I was reading an article. I photographed it with my phone. I have it somewhere, where she was in a newspaper. She was being interviewed, and someone said to her, "Do you think Yoko manipulated John?" And in the article, in the writing, she responds something to the effect of, "Oh, I'm not saying that she manipulated him." But in the movie, there's a damn moment where she says something didn't work out in the movie. May Pang says in the film she just would have to find some other way to manipulate him. So she's lying. Okay, and what's my most prized possession? It's got to be the Paul McCartney autograph. I have a Ringo Starr autograph. What up here? This "Stop and Smell the Roses" is autographed. You can't see it. I not in person. I didn't get it in person, but you know. Harold says, "I hope you keep doing these morning chats. I look for them." Well, that's what I'm hoping happens, but I wonder if I'll be doing these every morning. I don't know. Now, wow, TCB Mike says, "I've been doing low carb keto diet. He's lost 85 pounds so far. Well, the thing is, you might have you might have seen pictures of me from like 30 years ago. I show sometimes. Well, you can see them if you look at my banner where I'm with Yoko in one of the photos, and I'm with Linda McCartney in another photo from like 31 years ago, where I'm doing a no carbs diet, and you could see that I'm very trim, too thin at times. But anyway, yeah. So for the last 30 years, I've been doing it on and off. Yeah, yeah, they go back and forth. So that's how that's been going. But it did work. It did work for me back in the day. For sure. Um, Now, Brett says, "I am the Walrus" sounds great. Oh, I am the Walrus is the most controversial track. I hear that it's ruined by other people. So if you like it, I'm interested to hear it. Now, Mick64 says, "If I eat bread, I tend to cough all the time. I love it, but I don't eat it anymore." I've had an issue. I've been coughing a lot the last 5 months. Sometimes I have to hit the mute button here on the mic. Not too bad. Other times I'm not too bad, but I do have allergies. There's no doubt about that. I have allergies. I'm allergic to things. I'm allergic to dust. This room is kind of dusty. But have a little reflux, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I have to kind of like keep tabs on all that. John should have stayed with May Pang, period. Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Lennon Axel. I don't think so. John makes the decision. John obviously was much happier with Yoko, not because she had any kind of magical hypnosis. Come to me, come to me. She didn't. I'm looking for something to swing. She didn't take a little watch and take a swing and say, "You will come to me, John Lennon." It's ridiculous. Um, John knew what he wanted, and it was not me. Okay, it was not me. In fact, I was listening to the Walls and Bridges album again the other day. I love that album. Don't say anything about Hackney Diamonds, please. I said I like Hackney Diamonds better, but no. But Walls and Bridges, and there's a song on there to May Pang. Surprise, surprise, sweet bird of paradox. And to me, that song is okay, but it's just surprise, surprise is just dashed off. Blah, yeah, I love you. I think I love you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blah, blah. All this kind of stuff. But the song to Yoko, "Bless You," nobody ever talks about that. Isn't that interesting? May Pang doesn't. Oh, John wrote a song about me. He wrote a song about me. Surprise, surprise. Oh, just like a willow tree, a breath of spring. You see, she talks about the song. Why don't you also say that he wrote a love letter to Yoko? Some people say it's over now that we've spread our wings, but we know better, darling. You know, it's called "Bless You." And he says. I love that song. When I was younger, I didn't like "Bless You" because it was kinda slow and boring, but the words are fantastic. It's a love song to Yoko, wishing her back, saying, "Our love will remain," and when so John's pining away for Yoko. He's making the best of the moment with May. As long as he's with May, I'm sure he loved May, and I thought he had feelings for May, but Yoko's the one he wanted. Come on, let's face it. And May Pang doesn't want to see it that way, and I understand why in her mind. Do you have different rooms with different groups you like? Are you kidding? In this little apartment? What? Or in a little teeny tiny apartment? This is the I don't have enough room for the stuff here. No. Is the butcher cover in your collection? At the moment, no. I had a butcher cover for a while, sold that too, and it was never the best quality butcher cover. There's better quality. I was gonna one day get a better one, you know. So again, I'm going to say whenever I drink tea, I tend to belch a lot. I'm belching from the tea. So I don't think the tea agrees with me, honestly. It's going to be hard. How am I going to do these cup of joes when I'm just drinking water? Am I gonna put water in a coffee mug? That's kind of tough. TCB Mike says I also walk 10,000 steps a day. Well, do you know how long that is? Well, that's probably long. I mean, I walk a half an hour a day, you know. When I was a mailman, you know, I used to walk all the time as a mailman, but I try to get in at least a half an hour a day. Today I won't because for those of you just hearing this for the first time, I am going to be in about 90 minutes from now, I'm going to be hopefully getting a hold of the new red and blue CDs early, and I'm going to listen to them all day, and I'm going to have a video for you, just so you know. They say that sugar and carb addiction can be harder to kick than alcohol. I've heard that too. I heard that too. I think it's true, but I wouldn't know. I'm not an alcohol addict. If John hadn't been murdered, would he have divorced Yoko sometime in the 80s? Well, that's what everybody says. Everybody says that they were going to divorce. I don't know. I don't know if he would have divorced Yoko or Yoko would have wanted to divorce him. I don't know. Because as I say, they didn't purport to be the perfect couple. A lot of people have a myth that they think they have a myth that John and Yoko have a myth about their marriage. And everything, obviously, everybody knows they were very public about their split in 1974. I mean, obviously, they split. And obviously, they told the world. And on the Double Fantasy album, there's songs like I'm Losing You on there and I'm Moving On. They're having problems. You know, they're not trying to pretend we're Romeo and Juliet. But there's idiots like Fred Seaman out there who believe that they tried to, that John and Yoko tried to pretend that they were the perfect couple, but they weren't the perfect couple. You know, there's things about them. No, actually, Fred, listen to the actual music by the guy that you were supposedly a fan of, and you were supposedly an assistant to for so long, and his best friend, and all this. And you'll hear on the record itself, it says that we're having trouble. And in the interviews, they said we're having trouble. They said, he said that. It's very hard to keep this marriage going. You have to keep treat it like a plant. You have to get the flies off, John said. Water it now and then. So don't give me this stuff that they're over there saying we're always happy. So anyway, do I like John's song Flower Princess? No, that's one of my least favorite John Lennon songs of all. I just don't care for it. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard, but it's not in all fairness, it was never finished the version that appears on Milk and Honey, like the other John songs, are not really finished. Not really ready. I believe the May Pang movie is already on DVD. I believe, well, Blu-ray anyway. I don't know about DVD, but and I agree with Farrell McNulty. He says I'm very happy with the fake butcher cover that I have in a frame. It's just for the look. Yeah, the butcher cover is not all that anymore, to tell you the truth, because when I was growing up in the '70s, if you had a butcher cover, wow, that was a big deal. Nobody ever saw the butcher cover. To actually have a butcher cover in the '70s and peel it and see that photo was amazing. But since then, you can get it as bootlegs. You can get it appeared in the gatefold of the Beatles' Rarities album in 1980 in the inside. So you can see that picture very easily now. You don't need an original. The only reason to have an original butcher is for the collectability and the value of it. But to see the photo, you don't need it anymore. You know. Um, let's see. John wrote multiple songs for Yoko, such as what? I mean, I can't think off the top of my head. I mean, I know Yoko wrote a lot of Yoko. Say what you will about her, she had a knack for writing good poetic lyrics. John said that, and I agree too. In that case, don't agree with everything that they say all the time, but she wrote a lot of good lyrics, Yoko, and don't forget her words and her writing and poetic style is what got John inspired to do Imagine. She wrote the book Grapefruit that was all about imagine these things, imagine this, imagine that, imagine, and that's what inspired him to do the Imagine song. His greatest song, arguably. You know, where do I walk? Usually in a shopping mall. We'll have a few shopping malls. John Tobacco performed "Bless You" at Five Towns College. Beautiful song that doesn't get mentioned often. Well, I'm gonna keep mentioning it because that shows he still wanted Yoko. Am I a collector of Hendrix or the Kinks? Hendrix, I'm really only interested in. I have a good copy of the original. Are You Experienced? I love that album, and maybe the other one, which I forget the name of it. I know the name of it. It has "You Got Me Floating" on it. Geez, Axis Bold as Love. And when it comes to the Kinks, yeah, I like the Kinks quite a bit, and I have most of their early albums. I think, trying to get all their early albums. Yes, I do have a Beatles versus the Four Seasons LP, but it does not have the original poster in it. But I do have a copy. Yeah, Robert P. Does great work. Robert P. is a really nice guy, very generous guy, and he does. He made a really good looking butcher cover. He has a real knack for that kind of thing. I think. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think you said things wrong. Did you say? Oh, I know what you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Henry. When you said that John wrote songs for Yoko, I thought you meant he wrote Yoko songs. That John wrote songs that Yoko sang. That's what I thought you meant. Well, of course I know. Oh, Yoko, dear Yoko, happiness is. Well, I don't know. I don't think happiness is a warm gun has anything to do with Yoko. But don't let me down. There's a lot. I could name them all too. Come on. But yes, I know that. Yeah, right. They had the butcher cover included with Yesterday and Today on CD. That was a nice design that they did. Okay, folks, we got 72 people. I'm going to try this. Sometimes this works. I've seen people do this. Come on, folks, we got 72 people watching, but only 24 likes. Come on, hit that like button. Boom, boom, thumbs up. Come on, let's see us get up to 72, as close to 72 as we can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, we love you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. How's that? Did it work? I got one. Thanks. But yeah, you got to do that sometimes. You believe it or not, it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work. But thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got a few people there. Thank you. Yeah. I'll act like the clown if you like. Hey, hurry up. Oh boy. Have the Beatles love song. That's not an album. That's a poster, an advertisement for the Love Songs album. Besides the Beatles, what is your second biggest collection? Joan Jett, probably. Elvis, Joan Jett, and Elvis, probably. Connie Francis too, actually, believe it or not. But did the Christmas messages ever officially come out on CD? I don't think so. No, they should do that. They should do that, but they didn't. Okay, John Lennon Axel hit it. Thank you, John Lennon. Mr. Lennon Axel, I meant Mr. Lennon Axel. Can you like twice? I don't know. Now I'm going to try another one. This doesn't work as well. I'm going to try. Hit that S symbol. Hit the S symbol. I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? Why not? Hit the S symbol below. Come on, don't be shy. Hit the S symbol below. Help somebody get some breakfast. Come on. Yeah, okay. I tried it. I'm going to do it. Sometimes it works. That doesn't work as well. But you have every Bob Dylan album too, right? I have just about every Bob Dylan album. I am missing a few. I forgot about that. I'm a Dylan fan too. Yeah, but I'm missing a few. Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate that help with the like, because that helps the algorithm. Yes, Brett, I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see if they can mix the Star Club album with the AI. Um, I don't really like calling it AI, even though it is a form of AI. It's the Mal software name that Peter Jackson named after Mal Evans, and a combination of Mal Evans and the computer HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey. All right, I'm kind of caught up in the comments right now. I'm going to be on here for a little while longer. Um, so there should be. I wish there was a way. There's no way to shut the. If there was a way to turn the camera off, they have a way here to turn the mic off, but not the camera. Anyway, do you have both the Dylan John F. Kennedy tribute? I have Rough and Rowdy Ways on CD, and I wasn't as in love with that as everybody. It's considered a great Dylan album, but I wasn't as in love with it. Do I have a favorite Elvis album? If we're not talking about hits compilations, Elvis is Back is one of my favorites. The first album, Elvis Presley, is a favorite. I like some of the soundtracks. I love the King Creole soundtrack. I love the soundtrack for Loving You. I like an album called For LP Fans Only. Those are among my favorite. Bless you wherever you are. You want me to sing and make everybody sick? And bless you, it also says, I don't remember, but something like this. And remember, though love is strange, now and forever our love will remain. That's he's talking to Yoko. And remember, though love is strange, now and forever our love will remain. So May Pang, that's what he says. Okay. So remember that when you watch the May Pang movie and everything. John was perfectly happy, having fun with May Pang, getting drunk and cocained up every night. But deep down at the heart, he wanted his mom Yoko back. That's right. That's the one he really wanted. When they say there are only two Beatles still alive, why don't any wasn't anyone remember Pete Best? I say he is the third Beatle still alive. Of course, he's was a Beatle, but it's true. But nobody thinks of it that way. They think of the Beatles as far as when Ringo joined. Really. Good morning to Joe Gunnery. What's up, Joe? And just in case you're joining me for the first time here, I'm going to be hopefully I'm going to be in a very short time, about an hour from now, hour 15, a little somewhere like that. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of the red and the blue CDs, and I'm looking forward to spending today listening to them and evaluating them and making a video for you guys. So I'm looking forward to very it's not many times these days as much as we used to have where you can get excited about Beatles related stuff that's kind of like new, and I realize these are not new songs. No, excuse me, but I am interested in hearing the new 2023 mixes of some of that early music, and I have mixed feelings about it. I have some worries about it. I can't tell you where I'm going to acquire this. Where I'm going to acquire these CDs from. I can't tell you that. Yeah, it would be great if Pete Best could reunite with Paul and Ringo so they could bury the hatchet. I don't think there's any hatchet anymore. Like I don't think there's any ill will or anything. But I know what you mean, so that they can kind of just like. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. I think both Paul and Ringo, to tell you the truth, feel a little embarrassed by a way what happened with Pete. I really think so. Good morning to Darren Gamble. What's going on, Darren? I hope the Red and the Blue albums both hit number one, as well as the new Garth Brooks album. Who? Who? Garth who? Now, I'm only saying that because that proves my point of what I said. I remember once upon a time, everything was Garth Brooks. I remember once upon a time, everything was Madonna, Madonna. I remember once upon a time, everything was Mariah Carey, Mariah Carey. I remember once upon a time, everything was Adele, Adele, Adele. Now everything's Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. This too shall pass. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm trying to say. Not to take anything away from Taylor Swift as a successful businesswoman, as a songwriter or performer or a human being. I'm just saying, if I had a dollar for every time this happened, I'd be a rich guy, baby. I'd be a rich man. That's all I'm trying to say. Ringo, Paul, and Yoko have been getting along well for a long time, not just these days, but for a long time. TCB Mike mentions from Elvis in Memphis. Yeah, that's a good one. It's on sale for $60 on the Walmart site. Paul actually did an interview with Howard Stern years ago where they talked about Pete. Paul said he still chats with the family. I didn't hear that. The family. Does he talk to Pete or just the family? I'm wondering about that. I was hoping that Elvis's cousin, Brandon Presley, I heard about that. Brandon Presley could win the governor's race in Mississippi, but not. Okay. Interesting. I feel a little sorry for Pete too, but you see, Pete was there. Apple Pitts. Apple Pitts says it's a great name, by the way. That's a great name, Apple Pitts. That's an example. People always want. I always like a fun or funny or clever name. Apple Pitts is a great freaking name. And if I would have thought of that, that would I might have used that instead of Mean Mr. Mayo once upon a time. That's a good name. But anyway, it says Pete Best was there when they didn't have a drummer. Oh, he was there as if like he was like the savior. Yeah. Well, they needed a drummer, any drummer. They had a gig, they had an offer to go to Hamburg, but the only way they could get to Hamburg was they had to have a drummer. So they knew about Pete Best was in, he was at the Casbah Club, this guy. His mom owned the Casbah and all that. So they grabbed a hold of him, said, yeah, okay, let's go. And they went with him, but they never really liked his drumming. They just never did. And certainly, without doubt, his personality, more than the drumming even, his personality never clicked. Pete was never a Beatle. And I could tell that just by meeting him. I only met him once, and I'm not claiming to know Pete Best at all. Very nice guy. Pete Best, very a quiet and decent chap. But he could feel there's none of that Beatle vibe really to him, if that makes any sense. But anyway, and what happened happened, and he's doing all right now. I mean, Pete Best is still alive in decent health, I presume, and he's gotten some royalties off the anthology. Pete Best is famous. He's famous and he's a celebrity, yet he's not so famous he can't have a life too. And he's still part of history. He's still part of the Beatles' history. So I think now at this, he's at peace. I think, from what I can tell, he's at peace with it now. Do I have a favorite Beatles YouTube channel other than my own? Um, there were a lot of Beatle YouTube channels I like. Most of them are by my friends here on YouTube, and I don't like really. I'm going to cop out because I don't really like naming anybody because then other people are going to feel like, why am I not your favorite? I mean, believe me, I usually tell it like it is for the most part, but I also use a little decorum now and then. So there you go. Yes, Pete Best was a legitimate Beatle, but don't forget that you'd have to also say that Jimmy Nicol was a legitimate Beatle for a week or two, whatever it was. Do I have the Hayman's Green album? Yes, I do. I have a Hayman's Green album autographed by Pete Best. I never played it though, but I got, if you could see the stack of stuff I have over here, movies and music, all on the side here, just off camera, that I have to get to. You wouldn't believe it. Yes, I remember what George Martin said on the back. The Bay City Rollers is another one, right? Good example. Yeah, the Bay City Rollers also. Oh, bigger than the Beatles, the Bay City Rollers. And there's a line on the back in the 1977 album, Beatles Live at the Hollywood Bowl. George Martin does some liner notes on the back, and he says, uh, I think I think it was his daughter. Does he have a daughter? I don't know. Uh, Says, "You used to record the Beatles, Daddy. Were they as good as the Bay City Rollers?" Because the Bay City Rollers were the Taylor Swift and the Mariah Carey and the Adele of the time. And she said, he writes, one day she will find out. There you go. Who Bay City what? You know. Now I'm not saying that Taylor Swift is anywhere near as low as the Bay City Rollers. She's obviously a big sensation, bigger than even bigger than anybody. But I don't think people will forget her. Like I think they'll always remember her. Who Taylor Swift was. I just don't think she's going to be having any. You're not going to be rushing out, in my opinion, to buy it 60 years later. Stuff like that. I know a lot of people say when you talk about that, you say 50 years later, who cares? 60 years later, who cares? And all that. People say, "Oh, that's a cheap shot. That doesn't even mean anything." It means everything to me. Longevity and legendary status and generation after generation after generation after generation buying the stuff and still the Beatles' new song in 2023 is number 1 in England. Number 1. The Beatles have a number 1 and they broke up in 1970. Okay? That's a big deal. Now, Philip says Jimmy Nicol was a stand-in for Ringo when he was ill. Of course he was, but he was a Beatle for 2 weeks or whatever it was. A week or 2 or 3, whatever. Um Pete Best got replaced by Ringo Starr, who's a lot better drummer than Pete. I agree. To this day, Pete thinks he's just as good or better than Ringo. I don't agree. Sorry, Pete. Nice guy, but I don't agree. And that's why he got replaced. He didn't fit in with the rest of the Beatles. He also, like I said, it wasn't just about his drumming. It was also the fact that he didn't fit in as a personality. Ringo definitely. Ringo, come on, personality. Besides Ringo's good drumming ability, obviously Ringo's personality goes a long way. Laura says, reminds me of a quote I once heard. Quote, three things: sex, Chinese acrobats, and showbiz. No one stays on top forever, except our fabs. Exactly. Why did it take that long to get the Hollywood Bowl album out? It could have been a good Christmas release in '66. I think because of the screaming. The screaming was so wild and so a wall of screams like a jet airliner, jet plane that back then they couldn't do anything about it. That's what I think. And I like the way Laura writes that. That's a good way of saying it. Says Pete Best was an introvert, not a good fit. That's a way of putting it. I'm going to use that too because that is a good way of putting it. Yeah, Pete Best was an introvert, kept to himself, and that does not fit the Beatles at all. Apple Pitts says, I think they should extend the Beatle family and do some real music with the Beatle kids. Get Zach, Danny, Michael, Sean, and Julian together with Paul, Ringo, and Jazz and make some music together. If they do that, if they ever did that, I would listen to it and see how it is. I'll give you that. But I don't think any of them are going to want to do that. I don't think any of them want to do that. I don't think any of them would do that. But if they did, I'd give it a listen. I don't buy that stuff. Well, they say that Pete Best was more popular with the girls back in the day. Listen, every Beatle has fans, right? Some girls love John Lennon. Some girls love Paul McCartney. Some girls love George Harrison. Some girls even love Ringo the best physically. So yeah, Pete Best had a lot of girls, and I do believe it's true. It's a fact. I can't deny it. It goes down in history that people did scream for Pete. Pete, Pete, Pete. That is true. Pete might have got the most girls, but I still say when it came to the Beatles, as we can see even after Pete Best left, every one of the Beatles had the female admirers. So you can't tell me that it's all about Pete and the looks department and nobody else. Um, I'm gonna have to go very quickly in another like 6 minutes or so. So I'll get about 6 minutes here, and of course, around 9 o'clock is when things start really picking up here. But unfortunately, I gotta go soon. Well, when the girls had the sign that said "Pete Best forever, Ringo never," that was only because they didn't know Ringo. Ringo was brand new. You know, so I could perfectly understand why diehard fans at the Cavern would have Pete Best forever and Ringo never. That makes perfect sense. But boy, did that change overnight. That changed big time overnight. Why do I think Pete's best drumming was so bad on Love Me Do? I listened to other recordings. His drumming was decent, nothing special, but he kept the beat going. I don't know what he was thinking with Love Me Do. He changed the tempo up and down. The he just kept changing the rhythm of the structure. It's a terrible, terrible recording, Love Me Do. And that's probably one of the things that you know, uh pissed George Martin off more than anything. Okay, we're getting very near the end, as they say. It's getting very near the end, so let's keep going a little while. And well, that's true. That's true. He said that's true. The fans would have been aware of Ringo because he was in Rory's Storm and the Hurricanes. That's true. That's true. And he was big, and they were very big in Liverpool. That's true. I stand corrected on that one. Yes, that's true. But yeah, but they weren't used to him in the Beatles, right? He'd fill in for Pete now and then, but anyway, I perfectly understand the diehard fans and the Pete Best fans at the time not wanting Ringo in the band. I mean, that's a natural thing. Ringo had to really establish himself and prove himself, and that didn't take very long because he became the lovable old puppy dog with the sense of humor and the great fills and drumming style and timing. So it didn't take long. So we got just a few minutes left, folks. Just a few minutes. This is your last chance to hit the S button down below if you like. Got a few minutes. Let's see who can make it in there in time. Do I have the Jimmy book? I don't have the is it the Beetle Who Vanished? The, because I really would like to read that book one day, among many other books. I don't have that book, The Beetle Who Vanished. TCB Mike says, I'm looking forward to your review on the new Red and Blue. I want to just reiterate for anybody who missed it that in about an hour from now, I hope, fingers crossed, to have copies of the Red and the Blue albums. If I can get them within an hour or so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to try to listen to them twice, I hope, at least. And I'm going to try to make a video, and hopefully that video will be up before tomorrow, because tomorrow is the release date, official release date, and I'd like to have the video up today. You know, get a scoop. I know Andrew already has a very good video up, and I think some other people too. I saw a couple of other people. I don't have the records. No, the records. The new records, the red and the blue, are not shipped yet. I don't believe. So we got a little couple of minutes here, or a minute. All right. I think I better go. Okay. All right, folks. So thank you all for being here for this morning cup of Joe. We'll do this again. You never know when I'm likely to pop up. So everybody, I appreciate all of you. And thank you. And stay tuned for more now and then coverage, and especially in a way, I'm kind of happy though to put now and then away a little bit because I want to focus now on the new mixes for the songs on the new Red and Blue albums, which is going to be coming your way soon. So talk to you then, folks. Cheers.